if you need a sick day, take a sick day. Nothing is so important over your physical health and your mental health.
Hey babes,
I'm Madeline.
and I'm Deja.
And welcome back to the Elegance Exchange. So, I don't know, today we're kind of talking about something that's a little bit more slow, if you know, would say it that way. So we're going to be talking about slow living and all of the benefits that you get from it. And this is something that personally I have started to embrace a lot more. I think naturally, we as humans are so known for our rush culture and everything has to be done by your 25. Like you want all of your accomplishments done, blah blah blah.
You try to get everything done as fast as you can because you want to reach that point.
Right. But in reality, nobody has it together at 25, or if they do, they're one in a million. And that's great. But we just need to embrace living slow and kind of get out of that corporate mindset where it's like you have to do 50 million things every single day and be super stressed out because in reality, it's not good for your overall health.
Or we see those videos where it's 7 habits you need to incorporate in your day to get better and to be more successful. And it's a whole list of 80 gazillion things that you need to do.
You're just not going to implement that in your everyday life. You can start off by implementing one habit, but if you start implementing 7, all you're going to do is get burnt out. And that's just what it is. If you start a new job and they give you a million different things to do, you're going to get burnt out. And then you're not going to grow because you're so sick and tired of it.
And then you're going to stress yourself out too because you're not going to see that progress that you want to see immediately. And then you're going to be like, well, I did all this for nothing.
Right. So really embracing slow living, one of the biggest things is it really encourages you to pause and reflect on your life. So, I think easily whenever you're in high school too, you kind of get put in this rush culture. You're super, I've got to do this, I've got to do this.
I got to bring up my GPA, I got to fill up applications, you got to do all this stuff by this certain deadline that you made in your head.
And looking back, I never took the time to just reflect and be so grateful for what I had or for what I was going through, that I got to go through that typical, teenage high school experience, even though some of it wasn't always the best.
And it's not always going to be the best.
No.
No one is going to have that perfect high school experience,
But now that we're in college, I think the both of us have really taken time to just pause and kind of reflect. We have a little bit more time. And it really just makes you realize how much you have to be grateful for and then how much you're living every single day.
I feel whenever we're stressed out too and we're so worried about our future and everything, you really do not just look at what you're doing now and you're so focused on the future, you're not soaking in the present. You know what I mean?
And that's honestly the worst thing to do because one of these days you're going to look back and you're going to look back on your high school years or your college years or, just the years that your kids were young. And you're just going to be so sad that, you're not currently there. So you need to just take the time and really just breathe and understand that, you are living in one of the best moments of your life. You're going to look back one day and be sad that you're not there. So just be happy that you are there currently.
No, exactly. Be present. Go out and do stuff. Make the most of, just focus on that one day. You can focus on everything else later on, but just focus on the day you're living.
And, slow living also creates better health overall because you have time to notice little indiscrepancies in your body or little discomforts, and you can either, 1, get that treated, or 2, just take the rest that your body needs. It's always so awful during, the springtime because you have, you have finals or you have papers that are due or deadlines that you have to reach.
You're reaching the end of the year and you have all these things you need to do. You need to fill out these applications, you need to hurry and, fill out these scholarships and stuff.
And your body knows that you are super stressed out, and so you constantly are getting sick because your body's in such a constant fight or flight mode that you can't regulate yourself. You can't just breathe and take a chill, and just, I don't even know the word.
Just take a breather.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the same way with school. We all get to that point where we're so busy and we're trying to knock out as many things as we can, and then when you finally don't have anything to do, you kind of just don't know what to do with yourself. You're kind of what do I do now? because your body's so used to having that constant, like, I have to move, I need to go do something. So when you finally do rest, it's like, what am I doing? Like, what?
Right.
I feel like I should be should be doing something, and that shouldn't be the mindset you need to have.
No. Or on the other hand, you know, you're so used to going that now that you have time to break, you just completely collapse. Like, everything falls apart. You just, like, you cannot get out of bed. You
Yeah.
know? And that's why it's so important to really just, like, if you need a nap, take a nap. If you need a sick day, take a sick day. Nothing is so important over your physical health and your mental health.
Exactly. And sometimes that's best for you too. Like, if our mind is constantly looking at something, and like, say you're looking at a math problem and you're like, I don't know what I did wrong with this, like, I don't know why I'm not getting the right answer, just go take a break. It's because your mind is so used to what it's seeing. And I promise you, if you just go take a break, you go and you relax and you go back and act, you're gonna find it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how everyday life is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you cannot figure out how to deal with an emotional situation with one of your friends or a relationship, and, you know, you're really panicking, you're like, I don't know what to do, like, I don't know how to solve this. Take a breath, you know? Sometimes the best thing you can do is just to breathe, walk away, and come back to it.
Exactly.
And that's, you know, something that slow living is all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, if you need a break, take a break.
Don't immediately jump into it trying to fix things or trying to find your way around it.
Right. And I mean, this also increases your mental health, you know, because now you have time to sleep. And, you know, I hate to be the person. I know everybody's like, no, like, I'm fine running on 4 hours of sleep. You know, I was like that in high school. She was like that. But realistically,
it's not worth it.
No, and you are such an awful person when you are tired. I am. You don't want to be around me. And so, you know, your mental health vastly increases because you actually, like, are getting at least 8 hours of sleep, or maybe 6, you know?
Yeah, that 6 to 8 hour range is what you really should be going for, not the,
Right.
yeah, I go to bed at, 2 a.m. and I wake up at 6.
No. No.
Mm-mm.
Not good. And, you know, it also lets you just reflect on things. Like we were saying, you just actually get to reflect on who you are as a person and what's, you know, happening in your life. You also don't get as worked up because, you know, you're not running. I know sometimes whenever we're super stressed, it's very easy to get worked up. And then, like, if a spoon falls off of a table, you just blow up.
Oh my gosh, we all get to that point.
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
that boiling point, and then like that one small inconvenience, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
And that's your time to just, like, okay, I need to take a step back. I need to embrace the slow living. I need to just breathe. You know?
Or like,
we all get like that.
Exactly. Like, how many times are you talking to your siblings and they're like messing with you, and you're like, I'm only one small,
snap away.
Yeah, snap away, and then you end up like lashing out at someone, or you let your emotions get to you. You never want it to end like that. So it's just, you just need to walk away, come back to it later, apologize, and then, work from there.
The slow living lifestyle also lets you be super creative. And this was something I found very interesting whenever we were researching this. It allows your mind to get the creative juices flowing, I guess you could say. And I don't know, it's just so interesting that, like, taking a step back, breathing, having a slower part of your life gets your creative juices flowing. Like, who would have thought? I mean, it makes sense, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
And this is something that's so important now because, a lot of people are content creators. A lot of people are working in marketing. A lot of people are, just creative people. They're teachers,
exactly.
And that is something that is so vital to not only, your job, but your mental health as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood the people that are like, oh, I'm not creative at all. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That was me growing up. That was me growing up. If you were to ask my younger self in 6th grade, are you creative? Like, you could not put me and creative in the same sentence. Like, I hated the word creative because I thought so much I was not creative.
She's also like a math brain person, and I'm like an English brain person, so I don't know, maybe that's why, but I don't know, I think, but now, you face so much creativity every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's very interesting to think, but...
And everyone has something creative to do. Like, there's not a single person on this planet that is not creative. Like, we all have an imagination. We all have our different forms and ideas.
Right. Even those just little scenarios that, like, I don't know, I tell them to myself before I go to sleep. Like, the little scenarios in your brain, you know, that's being
Exactly.
creative. Your dreams are creative. Your cooking is creative. You know, almost every aspect about your life is creative. So you really just, that is something that's so important, and you really just need to channel it, you know, and live it. But we also, whenever we take a step back and we breathe, we also get to embrace the fun aspects of our life that we didn't get to explore before.
Yeah.
So in high school, you know, you're very busy. Maybe you have an extracurricular, you know.
Or you're in a bunch of clubs, or you're taking these
Right.
hard classes.
And so you don't get to do what you want to do because you're in these clubs. And yes, you do enjoy them, but maybe, you know, you really like running. Okay, but you don't have time to run because you're doing all of these other classes and you're doing all of these other extracurriculars. That's when it comes to a point and you're like, okay, you're trading something out.
Yeah.
And so whenever, you know, you move on in life, or maybe say you quit a club, or, you know, you're out of classes or something, you really get time to explore what you love doing. So I know it's a super big personal journey. You have to explore a lot of different things. Like, if you asked me a year ago if I was going to be doing little yoga on the beach things all the time, I would say, what are you talking about? But now it's something that I love and I enjoy.
Exactly, and I think it should be that way. Like, you should go out and you should find things for you to love and enjoy. Because I feel like I feel like these days people don't like to try things. Like,
No.
you're so comfortable with where you're at, and you're like, there's no point in me doing this, there's no point in me doing that. But, like, you don't know unless you go and try it.
We always say that, like, the second you're comfortable is the second when you need to get uncomfortable. Because truthfully, you just limit yourself so much when you're in your comfort zone. And, you know, part of slow living is being in that comfort zone, but you also need to take a little bit of a step out where you're still comfortable, but you're still pushing yourself.
Honestly, and I think that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really all we have to talk about. I know this was a little bit more...
shorter episode.
It was a little bit more fast-paced, which is ironic, but, you know. But with that being said, we are on a bunch of social media platforms. What?
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify.
Yeah, and that's it. So if you like us or enjoy our content, you know, definitely make sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify.
And definitely comment down whether or not you want to listen to some more topics or anything.
Yes, we literally love, like, going in the
Our
comment
feedback.
section. Yes, it's our favorite thing ever. It makes our day. So yeah, definitely like this video if you enjoyed it and follow us. All right, bye babes.